Hi everyone, this is the fourth and final take to try to present some ideas about basic ski posture that we talked about and that we will talk about in the first session of ski school, and also talk more in detail about some of the foot posture while we're not wearing ski boots. Do this exercise and go through this video at home, not wearing shoes, to help know what your feet are doing. So first of all, I wanted to talk about, starting from the bottom, again, talking about foot posture, and show you an exercise that I do that helps just reset what your feet are doing and helps set the stage for good ski posture. So basic walking mechanics basically has you using 4 parts of your foot to simplify it. But first of all, in basic walking mechanics, we have a heel touch. So we use our heel, the outside edge of our foot touches next, and then we roll to the ball of our foot and push off with our toes and the ball of our foot. So heel, outside edge, ball, toes. And we use all of those same parts in skiing. So I'm going to share an exercise that I talk a lot about in the fall and then at the beginning of winter, and it's also good to practice throughout the winter to make sure your foot is engaged and that we're using all parts of our foot. So I'm going to come on the ground here and show my foot. So again, you have the heel, outside edge, ball of my foot, toes. So the exercise that I start with is thinking about, first of all, standing and feeling what you normally, where the pressure is normally in your feet. So just stand in basic standing, however you normally stand. Feel where the pressure is on your feet. Next, what we want to do is try to shorten the distance between the ball of your foot and your heel. So shortening that distance, like you're scrunching your foot up into a pair of shoes that's too small. Once you've done that from the front, you can see the pressure is mostly on the outside edge of my foot. So now, keeping that same pressure, trying to hold my foot in that tight shoe, I'm going to press the ball of my foot down on the ground. So once I've done that, I have the outside edge of my foot, the ball of my foot, and my heel nice on the ground. And once you're in that position and you feel all 3 points of your foot on the ground, go ahead and wiggle your toes so they're nice and easy. So we're supporting ourselves with those 3 points of our ball of our foot, our outside edge, and our heel. And then our toes are there to help us check in, help balance, and then add to the push-off. So that is the foundation for standing on a ski, making sure all 3 points of all of our foot is being used, not just the inside edge of our heel, but we're centering our weight onto the ball of our foot, our heel is touching in, and then our toes are there nice and relaxed to also help with balance. What you see is, when I was demonstrating the different parts here, that when my ball of my foot and my heel is engaged, you see my knee is pointed in, where when I have all 3 points of my foot on the ground, my knee is nice in line with the center of my foot. And we call this beginning position stacked. So that means my knee and my toes, and then my nose, or even a better way to think about it is maybe my ear, is all stacked on top of each other. And I have a nice stable platform to stand on one leg. And then so working back up the body, in the first session we talk about athletic stance being an ideal position for doing athletic movements. And we like this position for skiing. The things we like about it are the bent ankles and the bent knees. We like those. The thing we want to change for skiing is when we're in this position, rotating our hips up and standing up a little bit taller, still with bent knees and ankles, but just rotating our hips up. And we discussed if we do that enough by engaging our butt muscles and our core muscles, that we end up falling to we end up rotating to the ball of our foot and do that enough, and you fall forward, and then we have our poles to catch us. So cross-country skiing is all about playing with how much of your weight can you get to the front or the ball of your foot to help you just move yourself down the trail by just getting weight to the ball of your foot. So to move our pelvis up, we don't want to be in the back seat like this. We want to be standing up tall. And to do that, think about engaging your butt muscle. If you tighten your butt, your pelvis automatically comes up. The other thing that's nice about doing that is it stabilizes your hip. So here, my knee is turned in, my foot is not stable. Here, my foot's stable, and the next thing is I lock in my hip, and suddenly I have a very nice stable platform to stand on. So engaging our butt, and then also using our core to lift our pelvis up. So with a strong core and a strong butt engagement, we're able to stand up tall. Our pelvis is rotated up. The weight's here on my ball of my foot. So when you get on skis and also at home in these next exercises, practice being in that position. Just getting used to being in that position. So for the first exercise, what I want to do is use those cues to engage my foot. So I call this screwing my foot into the ground, thinking about wrapping my foot tight around the ground, pressing the ball of my foot down, feeling that tension and torsion in my arch, and then having a nice platform to stand on with flexible, wiggly toes. And then engaging my core and my butt, and then I'm just going to stand on one leg. And you can just stand here if that's feeling pretty good. Just standing here for a minute like this is great for those muscles. The other thing you can do is get a little dynamic, so a little bounce. And get used to playing with that dynamic movement. So with one leg out here, this looks a lot like skate skiing. With one leg like this looks a lot like classic skiing, so pressing that ski down. So just getting used to that, doing that for a minute, maybe 20 bounces or something like that on each leg is the first exercise. The next exercise is a split squat. And this is a kind of a foundation for cross-country skiing because we're pushing with one leg, which is, again, when we're cross-country skiing, we're often on one leg. So one leg's in front of you, one leg's behind you, in line with your hips here, not off to the side. You can go a little bit inside here, and that makes you use your butt muscles to stand up tight a little, or stand up tall a little more. However, just neutral here, legs in line. I'm going to screw my foot into the floor, do that exercise so that I have a nice stable platform. And then I'm also going to try to engage my core and use my butt to push up from this exercise. Not thinking about using the inside legs, but the outside legs and my butt to push up. So I'm just going to squat down and come up. Two adjustments you can make. One, you can use a weight on this side that's with my leg behind. Drop the weight down. The other thing you can do with or without a weight is when you come up, stand up tall, bring your knee up, stand on one leg for a second, and then come back down. So from the side, an important cue is thinking about not pushing your knee forward and thinking about more your weight dropping straight down. So I'll demonstrate one. So my weight's straight down here, and then I'm pushing up from the bottom. Hopefully not losing my balance, but showing it's a good exercise for balance. So down and push up. So do 10 to 20 of those on each side. If you're feeling really strong, you can add a little bit of weight. But the important thing is that, one, you're not bending forward while you're doing this, like this. You're standing up tall in a nice ski position with an engaged core and dropping straight down. So, great strength exercise that supports cross-country skiing. The next exercise is a plank, just a simple plank. We talked about in the first session, our core is what leads us down the trail and also ties the power that we're generating from our poles into the snow and propels us down the trail. And we also talked about how our core is engaged in holding our pelvis in a nice high position. So just a simple plank is a great exercise to engage this. When you're down on the ground, thinking about, is my butt engaged? And am I using my lower core to lift my hips into that position that I want? So some pitfalls would be having your butt piked up in the air like this, or letting it sag so it's down on the ground. So a nice neutral spine, engaging my butt here, and just holding for as long as you can. Shoot for a minute. A minute's a pretty good standard. And then the next and last exercise is using our shoulder muscles and our lat muscles and our pec muscles to do a push-up. So I in my group on Saturday or Sunday with classic group, I talked about doing push-ups, I think like this, with what I call chicken wings out. And I use a lot of accessory muscles here in our shoulder to move us. And what we want to do is think about what our body is made to do and use these large muscle groups to push. So here I'm trying to use my shoulders and my pecs to push myself up forward. So push-ups like this in a nice straight line versus like this. I'll demonstrate them on the ground. If you have a hard time doing them just on a flat ground, you can use a bench or something so that you're angled a little more. So that can be a way that you can do a few more without it being too difficult. So flat on the ground. Also thinking about that plank position. So my butt's engaged and my core's engaged, and I'm pushing straight down and up. So straight down and up. Trying to avoid my elbows going out, instead and up. So those are the 4 exercises. I think those help support a lot of the strength and balance elements, and also cue some of the muscle groups we're trying to target so that we can be efficient and strong on our cross-country skis. All right, see you guys later. Bye.